Chapter 1. A Legacy of Valor. The year was 10 AD, a time when the Roman Empire was still reeling from the catastrophic defeat at the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest just a year prior. The aftermath of that fateful encounter had left the Roman legions in Germania weakened and demoralized. 3 legions, approximately 20,000 soldiers, had been annihilated, and the proud military might of Rome had suffered a blow that would echo through the annals of history. Amid this turmoil, a new leader emerged, Germanicus Julius Caesar, a man destined to reclaim Roman honor in the face of adversity. Born into the prestigious Julio-Claudian family, Germanicus was the son of Nero Claudius Drusus and Antonia Minor, making him a direct descendant of both Julius Caesar and Augustus. His lineage was steeped in military and political legacy, a heritage that would shape his character and ambitions. From a young age, Germanicus was groomed for greatness. He exhibited remarkable charisma, intelligence, and a deep sense of duty to the empire. He received an education befitting a future leader, studying history, philosophy, and military tactics. His natural leadership abilities shone through, earning him the respect and admiration of his peers. Chapter 2. The appointment to command. In the wake of the Teutoburg disaster, Augustus recognized the need for a capable commander to restore stability in Germania. The situation demanded a leader who could inspire the troops, rebuild morale, and engage the Germanic tribes with a strategic vision. With his military experience and noble lineage, Germanicus was appointed to command the Roman forces in Germania. As he accepted the appointment, Germanicus understood the weight of responsibility resting on his shoulders. He was aware of the fear and uncertainty that gripped the remaining soldiers and the pressing need to prove that Rome was not defeated. The empire looked to him for salvation, and he was determined to rise to the challenge. His first task was to assess the situation on the ground. Germanicus traveled to the provinces of Germania Inferior and Germania Superior, meeting with the surviving Roman legions, local leaders, and military advisors. He listened to their accounts of the Teutoburg disaster, absorbing the lessons learned from the defeat and formulating a plan to regain control over the territory. Chapter 3. The strategy of reclamation. Germanicus knew that winning the loyalty of the troops would be crucial for any campaign. He set about fostering a sense of camaraderie and pride among the soldiers, reminding them of their training, discipline, and the glory of Rome. He recognized the importance of addressing their fears, motivating them with tales of previous victories, and offering rewards for bravery. His strategy involved a combination of military might and diplomacy. Germanicus believed that in order to secure Roman interests in Germania, it was essential to establish alliances with local tribes and foster relationships built on mutual benefit. He sought to distinguish between hostile tribes and those who might be open to negotiation, understanding that not all Germanic peoples shared a desire for conflict. With a clear strategy in place, Germanicus began to gather his forces, replenishing the legions with fresh recruits and experienced veterans. He meticulously organized his troops, ensuring they were prepared for the rigors of warfare in the unforgiving terrain of Germania. As he built his army, Germanicus sought to inspire loyalty among his men, emphasizing that their success would not only restore Roman honor but also solidify their place in history. Chapter 4. The march into Germania. With his army assembled and morale high, Germanicus set forth on a campaign to reclaim the lost territories and avenge the fallen legions. The march into Germania was fraught with challenges, as the dense forests and treacherous terrain posed obstacles for the Roman forces. However, Germanicus utilized his military acumen to navigate the difficulties, employing a combination of scouting, reconnaissance, and strategic positioning. As they moved deeper into Germanic lands, Germanicus took the time to establish contacts with local tribes. His diplomatic overtures were met with mixed reactions. Some tribes were wary of Roman intentions, while others were intrigued by the prospect of aligning with a powerful ally against their enemies. Germanicus's charismatic leadership began to win over some of the more neutral tribes, who saw an opportunity to bolster their own standing against rival groups. He offered protection and trade opportunities, forging alliances that would strengthen his position as a commander. These diplomatic efforts would prove invaluable as the campaign progressed. Chapter 5. The first engagements. In the spring of 10 AD, Germanicus launched a series of military engagements against the Germanic tribes. His first target was a hostile faction known as the Cherusci, the same tribe that had dealt a devastating blow to Rome at Teutoburg. Arminius, the chieftain who had orchestrated the ambush, remained a formidable adversary, but Germanicus was determined to confront the remnants of this once feared tribe. The first battle took place near the banks of the Weser River. Germanicus, utilizing a combination of formations and tactics learned from his studies, orchestrated a well-coordinated assault. His troops advanced with discipline, moving in tight formations that allowed them to respond quickly to the fluid dynamics of battle. The Cherusci, taken by surprise, initially struggled to counter the disciplined Roman tactics. Germanicus's strategic use of archers and cavalry provided a decisive advantage, allowing the legions to break through enemy lines. The battle concluded with a decisive Roman victory, a crucial turning point that sent ripples of hope through the ranks of the empire. Chapter 6. The gathering storm. Buoyed by their success, Germanicus pressed on, determined to maintain the momentum of the campaign. The news of the Roman victory spread like wildfire throughout the region, inspiring hope among Roman loyalists and instilling fear in the hearts of the Germanic tribes. The tides of war seemed to be turning in favor of Rome. However, the victories did not come without cost. Germanicus faced challenges as he advanced further into Germanic territories. Not all tribes were eager to submit to Roman authority. Many rallied around Arminius, who had become a symbol of resistance against the invaders. The Cherusci, although defeated, were far from broken, and they were rallying their allies for a counteroffensive. Germanicus recognized the importance of consolidating his gains. He established fortified camps and sought to maintain supply lines to support his troops. He implemented a strategy of foraging for resources, leveraging the loyalty of allied tribes to secure provisions. However, as he advanced deeper into enemy territory, the risks of ambushes and surprise attacks loomed larger. Chapter 7. The Great Campaign. As summer approached, Germanicus devised a grand campaign to decisively defeat the Germanic tribes and restore Roman dominance. His plan involved a multi-pronged approach that would stretch the resources of the enemy and force them into open conflict. He sought to lure Arminius and his allies into a decisive battle that would put an end to the resistance. Germanicus split his forces, sending a contingent to engage with Arminius's allies while he led the main force toward the heart of Cherusci territory. This maneuver aimed to create confusion and draw the enemy into a vulnerable position. As the two forces converged, the Germanic tribes found themselves facing a united Roman front. The ensuing battles were fierce and brutal, with both sides fighting tooth and nail for victory. Germanicus displayed remarkable tactical prowess, adapting his strategies to counter the unpredictable guerrilla tactics employed by the Germanic tribes. The Roman legions, inspired by their commander's leadership, fought valiantly, pushing forward despite the hardships. Chapter 8. The Clash of Titans. The culmination of Germanicus's campaign came in a series of climactic battles that would determine the fate of the region. The most significant confrontation occurred at the Battle of the Diviso, a key engagement that saw Germanicus face off against the united forces of Arminius and his allies. The battlefield was a vast expanse of rolling hills and dense forests, a setting that favored the agile and mobile Germanic warriors. Germanicus, aware of the challenges posed by the terrain, devised a plan to use the natural landscape to his advantage. He positioned his forces strategically, ensuring that they could respond quickly to enemy movements. As dawn broke, the clash of swords and the roar of battle filled the air. Germanicus led the charge, inspiring his troops with his unwavering courage. The initial exchanges were brutal, as both sides fought fiercely for control. Germanicus's tactical brilliance began to shine through as he maneuvered his legions to flank the enemy and disrupt their formations. Despite their determination, the Germanic forces were unable to withstand the onslaught. Arminius, witnessing the tide turn against his warriors, fought valiantly but realized that the Roman legions had come prepared. The battle raged for hours, and eventually, the Germanic tribes began to falter. Chapter 9. The aftermath of victory. The Battle of Diviso ended in a decisive Roman victory, marking a turning point in the conflict. The defeat of Arminius's forces had far-reaching implications for both the Roman Empire and the Germanic tribes. Germanicus had restored Roman pride, proving that the legions were still a formidable force in the region. In the aftermath of the battle, Germanicus sought to consolidate his gains. He extended offers of peace to the tribes that had fought alongside Arminius, emphasizing the benefits of cooperation with Rome. His diplomatic overtures aimed to isolate the remaining hostile factions and encourage a more stable environment in Germania. However, the victory came at a cost. Germanicus faced criticism from some Roman senators who believed he had overextended the empire's reach. The concerns about maintaining control over such a vast territory fueled debates in the Senate about the future of Roman expansion. Nevertheless, Germanicus remained resolute, believing that Rome's destiny lay in its ability to adapt and thrive.